you've taken some housing allocation from Portsmouth to try and cover their deficit. The second question is about the Delme Roundabout. With the Down End Road development being put in, is there any plan for what's going to happen with the roundabout? Because that's at the moment it already is a stickler for traffic, and a lot of the cars coming out of that estate are going to end up going onto the Delme Roundabout to try and get onto the motorway. And last one, well, at a previous CAT meeting you said there wouldn't be a brick laid until the infrastructure was in place, and is that still the case?
Okay, so that's on your questions too. I said there would not be a brick laid at Wellbourne until all of the infrastructure was identified, most importantly funded, and we knew what was going where. We're now pretty well at that stage, so bricks will be able to be laid. In terms of the Delme roundabout and obviously we talked about the Down End proposals in there. The Delme roundabout is clearly, in many ways, not particularly fit for purpose, and there are proposals for improvements to that roundabout. There's also another access proposal to the Down End West proposal, which is to take a link directly onto the A27, M27 link.
Would that be both ways, or would that just be one way into the estate?
That would be both ways, as I understand it, but that's not part of this consultation because land allocations are, it's the allocation with whatever the road system is at the present time that people comment upon. But when we did the Fareham CAT meeting, Gail did give a flavour as to what sorts of road proposals were being made about that area, and at the Portchester meeting as well. So I'm sure she should probably share those with you and how does it actually work. And sorry, was there a person?
It's a housing allocation.
The unmet need bit, yes. We've had, at the moment, our intelligence is that there's an unmet need in Portsmouth that they can't meet, and that there's a much, much bigger one in Gosford. The only one of the two which has physically asked the council, will you take X? There was a letter, maybe 2 ago now, from Portsmouth City Council asking if we would take 1,000 of their allocation as our duty to cooperate. And as you saw from Gail's presentation, we need to have something in there to prove to an inspector that we are following that duty to cooperate, and that something is 900. But what we can't say is, well, that bit of housing there, that's for Portsmouth, or that's for somebody else. But yeah, there is a figure of 900 in there. Gosport's figure, allegedly, is around 2,500. But they have not formally asked Fareham to take any of their unmet need, and they have said they won't. But the problem we have is that while they may say they haven't got an unmet need, they haven't actually started their local plan process yet. They're just about getting off the starting blocks now, because all councils are at different stages in the process. So they will be coming along fairly shortly. But what will happen is, at our inspection, when the inspector comes here, he is going, or she, are going to be testing what other councils are doing as well. So even if Gosport hasn't formally said something to Fareham, the inspector might well be probing them and saying, what's going on there? So we don't know. What we do know is, if we don't allocate something, the plan will likely fail and be rejected. But if we've got something in it, and then it's a matter of, well, how much is that something? And that's part of what we want to hear. It's part of the consultation exercise. What should that figure be? What would be the most reasonable figure to have? But it isn't about where it goes. It's just all of that. You've got to have the figures the government's told you, then you've got to have some unmet need, then you've got to have at least 10% on top in case it all goes wrong. My view is it probably will. In terms of overall figures built, it probably will all go wrong. Okay, is that all right?